Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our journey in discovering one new Chinese expression a day. Yesterday, we came across a very good meaning. Compared with 智勇双全, which is a compliment about people, about anybody who got dimensions on intelligence and courage. Bravery on both dimensions. That's 智勇双全. But here it's even more. We max it out to 10. 十全十美, like 10-10. Life is 10-10. That's basically a scoring of life situation. Talking about everything, every aspect in life is perfect, it's complete. You get your 儿女双全, you have both boys and girls in your family, and life is beautiful. Simply, it's a 10-10. And I give what I envision as a good measurement of, I would consider a 10-10 life for me. Okay, so today we continue with the concept of 美. Yesterday we talked briefly about what 美 came from. It's sheep sacrificing to the divine. That's sheep horn, sheep fur, and below is the concept of big. So big is pretty abstract concept. That's combining of the two pieces together. That looks like a human figure, right? Pieced together with arms spreading out. Or at the beginning of the very beginning of my journey in discovering my own language, I saw that as a person spread out in a starfish shape. That's easier to conceptualize, but later on I come up with an even fancier idea of everything is in relative. So when we horizontally combining two pieces together, and then that make it double the original size. So that's big plus sheep, and sheep probably is the best kind of meat to humans. So humans are gauging what the divine would like, so offering them the best meat. Humans, and if the sheep is big, so it's well fed, is well grown, something like that, that's the best kind of sheep. So it's a premium meat offering to the divine. And eventually that meat consumption becomes aesthetic consumption, like what's considered to be pleasing, to be eye candy, so to speak, right? So consumption of person's appearance, that's also comparable, what make it considered beautiful. So eventually this concept from the sheep offering extended to almost a commentary or evaluation of a person's appearance. So oftentimes 美 is used on females. We do have 美男子, the three characters to say beautiful male, 男 is male, farm muscle, that's basically male, and 子 is a complement or add on to the ending of male, to extra male-led, as these are good-looking males. So we do actually use beautiful, this character, on male as well. In this context, 四大美人 is today's phrase. The 人 by default we regard it as woman. We didn't say 美女, because almost like, okay, 美女 in 儿女双全, we learned that 女 actually is unmarried woman. And here 美人, I guess from that content we didn't use 美女 to pair with it, because the four female figures we're going to present here or labeled as throughout Chinese history, the top four most beautiful women. And these are women, not unmarried, because you will see, they will, I'll explain to you. So here, instead of using 女 as unmarried female, that's not accurate to be here. So 人 is more generic term. So this almost R-looking character is ancient Chinese way to depict 人, and paired with beautiful. In this context here, it refers to female only, nothing to do with male there. You know, just like the other day I was talking about political correctness in English when we have actor, actress, right? So it's the gender of the profession was explicitly spelled. But when it comes to scientist, there's no female attachment ending to the same word. So when you have to emphasize as a she scientist, that's kind of politically incorrect in today's environment, right? Why would you want to point out it's equal, right? So here, when it's flipped, when it comes in terms of aesthetic, pleasing appearance, all that, here, by default, if this character is used on females, and I guess you can say it's politically incorrect as well. But if you want to spell out this refer to males, you have to add 美男子. So to emphasize it's a male, we have to add the character male, because by default, humans defaulting, at least in Chinese culture, the beautiful person refer to women. Enough of that. Okay, 四. This box with these two curves, I would view it, I will understand it. It almost look like a tennis ball, right? No, a baseball. I would view it as, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, right? 3 vertical lines. The first three numbers, easy to draw. When it comes to 4 number, it becomes a little bit crowded. So the solution here, the language solution, is to have 4 vertical lines and then box it together, including the boxing itself. It takes 2 apart. So you see just 1 box and then 2 inner lines in there. But vertically, there are 4 lines in there. And these also add visual interest to it. So that's how I view number 4 came into being, because 4 vertical lines and they are connected. So round up into 1. If it's an open ending at the bottom, that will look weird, right? As if these are unrelated. For example, in English world, when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We use 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines, kind of sticking in the air, unrelated, unintersect. So it's individual 4 lines. That kind of looks weird, right? So imagine that in Chinese word, you just draw 4 vertical lines like that. It's too rudimentary, right? Because this is kind of a temporary. This is not for long-term record keeping. So then when it comes to number 5, you just draw a horizontal line to kind of connect them together. But this, if as a written language, as a system to be used by different people from far away places or for a later generation, 100 years later, you want to preserve the character that looks like not to randomly throw it over there. So I guess 1, 2, 3, you can randomly throw in there, and you can see why. But when it comes to 4, it's too much not to be connected. So they have to connect in some way to make it one unit. Okay, enough of that. And that I talked about the concept a bit already. So this is human figure, right? But when it comes separated, with a horizontal line to bind them together, that's double sizing the original each side. When it comes to 小, it's antonyms that has the 2 parts separated with instead of a horizontal line, with a vertical line to kind of intentionally make the cut to create this visual separator in between the 2 pieces. So that gives you a sense of you cut something into 2. So halved, when something is halved, that means it's smaller than whatever your benchmark is. And when we say any adjectives, actually big or small in terms of size or beautiful, it's really up to personal judgment. Like, what's your beauty standard? Here, when we say beautiful, it actually means beautifuler than whatever the benchmark was. And that's I recently discovered the truth. Unless, like here, number 4. Number 4 is numerical system. We all know where number 4 is. And it's a relative positioning to 1, 2, 3, and the other digits, right? We know, we have a quantifiable sense of that. There's no argument about that. And actually, it's a quantity quantified for us to visualize where things are. But in terms of there is no quantification in any characters other than the 10 digits spelled out. When it comes to concept like big, small, beautiful, or ugly, things like that, adjectives, they are relative. Except in language, it's too much a hassle to use the comparator all the time. You cannot say bigger than all the time. And also, like, who would want to throw out our benchmark all the time, right? That shows it kind of expose your bias, your preconception about how things should look, how things should size, right? All that, you have a certain, everybody of us have like an average, like that's the standard. And in comparison, something or some person considered beautiful or big, that's all in relative terms. Okay, 四大美人, ta-da, let's review who are they. So nobody of us in existing 2023 ever seen with our own eyes how beautiful they are. But their legends, the stories about them, passed down generations. And they can preserve their stories in folklores or even in historians. Like some of them are super powerful, power figure. I guess in a sense, all of them are power figure, even if in a patriarchal society, these 4 women not only stand out by their beauty, which is subjective, right? And but they do tie themselves sort of to power and kind of change the fortune of a country. So when in a Western civilization, Helena, right, or Helen, in the story of is that Homer's story, like Western classical literature story, the Trojan horse, that kind of battle, right? That was related, the whole battle, the bloodshed, the whole famous battle was related to a beautiful woman, right? So similarly, here in Chinese culture, these 4 women are considered history-changing events. It's not. It's beyond their own lifespan. It's bigger than that life. So literally, they are bigger than life figures. And here, without further going into each of the characters, I can pronounce them. And if you're interested, you can check them out. But this top 4 beauty. And by the way, I didn't say it out. We use 大 means big 4, literally, right? Big 4 big, beautiful person. So we use big as the top. So instead of a ranking, we say big. And from there, that's further supporting of my argument of big or small is really relative. We didn't spell out, we are comparing about it. But when we say big 4, it's really the top 4. There is a ranking in our mind already. Okay, 四大美人 without a spell out. But wait, I have a misspelling here. Spy. Okay, so this is the first female spy ever in record history. Recorded history. So the way she changed the fortune of a country is, so country A lost the battle and the country A's was prisonered. Country A's leader was prisoned for like 10 years and he was released. And then he searched out throughout the country, picked the best beauty in his regime and send in that beauty as a mission to distract the enemy. So she succeeded to entertain whoever was the winner. And that winner lost vision of his regime. And eventually the country A, the formerly defeated country can fight back and killed whoever shamed or defeated the country A's. Okay, it's a little bit clumsy. Anyways, she was the first one to commission as, I don't know if she got paid or simply out of patriotic, but she committed her 10 years of her life to do this work. So this is the first known spy in Chinese history. Okay, the second one, Diao Chan, she did something similar, but in a different era, but same logic. Her technique was even a little bit more complicated by like a provoking the enemy side. So there were alliance and leadership hierarchy, right? So she went in to make two men fall in love with her, and the two men was originally allies and went into, become this what do you call it? Competitors in for her, and those two broke their original bond, and therefore each side got weakened, and the change of fortune again. So this is a diplomat. So was when China was trying to, okay, all of this story happened thousands of years ago. Okay, so when China was kind of bothered or harassed or under military pressure from nomadic people who have a different language, habits, live in different regions, but somehow like their border eventually both expand, right? Empire expand, and kind of close to border with someone supposedly in the Tibet region, very different climate and people living in there. So to make peace, the Chinese emperor picked the best looking girl. I mean, like that he was willing to give up. So this girl ended up being selected to send off as a arranged marriage to appease the enemy. She succeeded. So the peace era followed for like half a century or something like that. And because she raised the son of the next ruler, right? So how can the ruler, the new ruler, fight against your mom's motherland, right? So she really stabilized the region just single-handedly by a woman's force. Okay, or charm. Okay, the last one is a Kukumai that she ended up collapse the kingdom. So the emperor leader, whoever fell in love all over her, lost vision, just like the spy work in spy. Even if she was not supposed to be a spy, she wasn't sent in. She just naturally derailed the nation, and the failure of the collapse of that regime, because there are whole families and people underneath the protection or the original structure of the society. So she was blamed as the corrupting force there, and she got killed or rewarded of her death by her former lover. Okay, dramatic. But these are countrywide, country in the ancient times concept, change of fortune because of their female forces. And I think their lures preserved throughout history, thousands of years, not just because of their beauty, because beauty is a precondition, right? You have to be beautiful to do that kind of work on men who are the power figures back then. But at the same time, they were able to attach themselves to the change of the tide of the history. In a sense, they are. I'm currently reading The Black Swan, so they were the black swans of the history, change of fortune of a country. Imagine that. So that's how damaging or how influential these women are, and that's why they were selected as the top 4 beauty in China. Nobody can replace them, compete with them up till now. Okay, Cash Inter, you can see I'm thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.